Right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fair Weather Podcast, where I am one of the four here to bless you. I'm going to be the moderator so we can keep everybody in check. But before we get started, got to introduce everybody. KK, how you doing, bro?
I'm chilling, chilling as usual. Go Phillies, go Phillies. And fly, Eagles, fly. That's all. You know what it is.
I didn't even know baseball was still going on, to be honest.
Oh, I got something for y'all. Just wait.
Hey, Rod, what the lick read, brother?
Lick reads I haven't hung myself yet as a Jets faithful, so I'm still alive. And Yankee baseball, who gives a fuck, right? Baseball season's been done for a while.
Yeah, I haven't watched baseball since May, so there's that.
Goddamn Jets.
Break your heart.
Vic, how you doing, man?
Hello there.
That's all he's got.
Very subtle.
Yeah,
very subtle. I like it.
Very quick,
to the
very
point.
quick and to the point. So,
Welcome
all
to the
right.
party.
Obviously, we got a lot of sports going on this past weekend, but obviously, KK, something that you guys like to kick off is the wackiest, craziest thing that you saw this weekend, whether it be in sports or anything. I'll let you start it off, KK.
A couple things that, there was a lot of crazy shit that happened this weekend. I mean, for one, we all saw Miami drop 70 on another team and disrespectfully kneeled at the end of the game because whatever, right? That's one. I got to watch USF win a home game against a non-FCS school. That was fantastic. But the real crazy thing for me, if I told y'all back in April that one of our teams is not going to make the playoffs, who would you in baseball? Who would y'all thought would be that team?
Oh, the Phillies for sure.
All right, then. All I'm saying is that the Phillies are in the playoffs and the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees are both not.
And the Cardinals.
Wild. So that's the crazy shit for me. That's a crazy stat when you think about it. I don't even know the last time that's happened, so that's a crazy stat.
Hey, Rob, what was the craziest thing you saw this weekend?
I think if we want to throw a stat out there, it's the first time the Red Sox, the Yankees, or the Cardinals have not been in the playoffs, and I think it's 30 years. One team is not represented. So that's pretty wild to think that. And keep it in-house for me. I would say seeing the reaction of Jets fans wanting the head of Zach Wilson on a silver platter and telling them these tickets ain't cheap, bro. Like, get it together. Basically demanding shit. And then also seeing that now that there's a tiff amongst defensive players and Robert Saleh in the locker room for having faith in Zach Wilson, knowing that they can salvage it, but it is what it is. It's a never-ending story with the Jets, the goddamn Jets.
Goddamn Jets. We will slowly be in the same position as you, pause. But Vic, what is the craziest thing you saw in sports this weekend, or anything?
Does Nick Chubb's leg count?
I said that's a very sour subject.
Yeah. I can't believe that happened to that man twice. The same leg too, and like the same exact kind of injury. That definitely was one of the crazier things. Another crazy thing I saw was that Shohei Ohtani apparently has interest in going to the Red Sox. And that's the only reason that was crazy is because our ownership doesn't spend money. So unless he wants to come to the team for free, that shit ain't happening.
Yo, super accurate. I said the only way that Shohei Ohtani would get here was just a handshake with Masataka Yoshida. That's about it. That's the closest he's going to get to the Red Sox.
I'm surprised none of y'all said nothing about Taylor Swift.
I think
she completely took over my whole social media this weekend.
Seriously, I didn't think that was anything we needed to touch on because that's everybody already knows about Taylor Swift.
I appreciate it. Hey, but apparently Travis Kelce got put on, so he got 3 million followers now. He got his jersey sells through the roof.
Yeah,
hey, power. That's a power team right there.
Taylor Swift put him on the map.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Wow. I'm surprised KK hasn't said the only Swift he cares, Kelce Swift combination he cares about is the one in Philadelphia.
You know why I didn't say it? Because I knew everybody else was gonna say it, and that's all I kept seeing. I was like, bro, y'all so lame and unoriginal. So that's why I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my time and say it. So
did you just call A-Rod lame and unoriginal? Oh
no,
man,
because I know Monday Night Football is saying it. I know Sunday Night Football is saying it. I know ESPN, Fox, FS1.
It was kind of cringe, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm totally out on all that.
Yeah, they got to the part of the script. they got to the part of the script that they wrote, and they were like, just throw this shit in there real quick. Just throw this shit in there real quick. Next chapter.
Everything sex sells, right? So put it in there.
We got to get that in there. Yeah,
exactly. Right. The wackiest, craziest thing that I saw.
Doing the Super Bowl. And Usher doing the Super Bowl, by the way.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The Usher Super Bowl. That was actually a pretty sweet announcement that they did that with the whole Confessions remake and having the people call in and stuff like that. That was actually pretty dope. But yeah, some crazy shit we want to get to. Obviously, you're gonna sound off on what I cough predicted is the frauds that Colorado Buffalo is. Obviously, college football. Do a little OSU Notre Dame. Some big games this past weekend. We're gonna do a real quick panic meter with the Jets and the Pats, and then I have a quick confession to make on that sound off. Real quick, we'll do a Who Do You Love segment. We got the Grim Reaper coming. Who's phony? Who's fake? Then obviously we'll cap it off with some Week 4 matchups, and of course we're gonna save something crazy that just happened today for the end of the show. So make sure that you stay tuned if you want to hear what we all, because we're going to do a full nice round robin. I think that's going to be a big bulk of the end of our show, round robin on the NBA news that happened today about Damian Lillard. We'll get into all the details and stuff when that happens. But real quick, let's talk about this Oregon-Colorado game. I know I was watching. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I saw what Dan Lanning was trying to show people, trying to prove to people. Obviously feeling a little bit disrespected and salty. That's what that reminded me of, right? The way they were playing was very disrespected. They felt disrespected. They felt very salty that Colorado was getting all this attention and Oregon wasn't. But anyway, let me start with you this time, A-Rod. A-Rod, what did you think about that game? What do you think is next for Coach Prime? Do you think this killed him a little bit or lost a little momentum?
Nah, it's Prime time all the time, man. And Prime is going to give it to you a straight shooter. You know, they play like dog shit, he said. And I think we all alluded to it. I told you I wanted them to win, but I knew it was going to happen. They were going to lose. But it's good exposure for Prime to play against these big schools. And not having Travis Hunter hurts you, but I was wanting them to win, but come on, let's be honest. Oregon's scored 80 points the first game of the season. It's inevitable that happens. So I think for Coach Prime from here, it's just a learning curve for him. You're playing against powerhouse schools now. You're not playing against Central Baptist, West Methodist, whatever. All these smaller schools. You're playing against bigger talent now. So he got his ass kicked. But it doesn't bring him down. Like, these kids will run through a wall for Deion. And I think it just fuels the fire for them for more. I think they'll be okay. So that's my personal take on it. But the defense does not look great. I can say that watching that game. But also these are like giants playing against smaller guys. And yeah, that defensive line for Oregon's real deal. That number 50 kid is the second coming of Dominic Sue. That's all I can take away from that.
KK, what did you think? Like, what do you think some of the repercussions are for after? I know Vic came around a little bit on Coach Prime with, him coming out with some of the statements saying, they played like dog shit. That's a good team on the other side, blah, blah, blah. But what was your takeaway from that game and the score and all that, KK?
I mean, we can't act like we're surprised. I mean, we all knew Oregon is top to bottom, a way better ran program over the last decade and a half. So, I mean, you can't say it's a surprise, and it's a kind of rebuttal what you said, A-Rod. They didn't play no Southern Baptist. They played Nebraska, Colorado State, and TCU. Those are all, big schools. So they got humbled. They didn't have their best player, obviously, but they got humbled. We already knew going into the season their offensive line was going to be shit. And when you play a team like that, yeah, you need a block. Giannis Sanders is already leading the league in sacking, 22 sacks. So honestly, it was kind of one of those. I wish it wasn't so embarrassing. I was at the USF game watching the Bulls win, and there was an old lady. She was the most live old lady I've ever seen in my life. But she was an old lady, and she had the Oregon Colorado game on her phone. So I'm just looking over her shoulder. I'm like, God damn, this is crazy. So yeah, it was rough. But Deion, man, look. You know how I feel about Deion. He gonna get his troops right. I mean, yeah. One thing about him, he never lacks confidence. So, I think he instills that in his players. I think Shedeur will bounce back. Obviously, we know the schedule is USC next, so it's not like it gets any easier. You got to deal with Caleb Williams, but I mean, it is what it is. It's this is a learning moment for all of them.
And I got to give you a ton of credit, KK, because you pointed that out. You're one of the people that pointed out that this is a gauntlet coming up for Colorado. So this is a big test. So obviously this was test number 1. Could be said that it's argued that it was the hardest test of the next sets of games that are coming. But
it's on the road.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But obviously the next game I wanted to touch on real quick, the OSU Notre Dame game. Probably arguably the football game of the week. KK, I know you had a little stake in this game. Who are you rooting for here? What'd you think? What did you see here?
I can't stand Ohio State, man. Ryan Day is the biggest jerk I've ever met in my life. And then I growing up, I hated Notre Dame, honestly, but I ain't go front, man. When they got Marcus Freeman, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna show him a little bit more love. We got some. I never thought that kind of a school would hire somebody who looks like that. So it made me feel a little bit better. Notre Dame should have won that game. Ohio, when you look at it this year, honestly, and this game kind of showed it. This is where I think we finally reached a point in which college football is finally wide open, and everyone been making fun of NIL and transfer portal. This is the most balanced shit I've ever seen. Imagine that was a playoff game. That was a 4 seed versus the 11 seed. That would have been exciting. You know what I mean? So, Ohio State's obviously going to do what they do. Notre Dame shot the bed, but I don't think Ohio State is as good as people think. I think Penn State is probably better than them too. So I look forward to them losing to Penn State at one point, and they obviously got to come see us. So we'll see how that goes. But shit happens. Shit happens.
I'll be completely honest. I was very unimpressed for most of that game. I thought Kyle McCord sucks. So shout out to you, and I know you're a big Michigan fan, so I think that's going to work in your favor. I think Hartman on the other side was okay, but granted, he's like a 6-year player anyway. So like they alluded to, I think on the broadcast, they're like, there's no defense he hasn't seen. It could be argued he could probably see more defense at this point because I didn't really think he was that great. But yeah, he's a little older of a guy anyway. But yeah, it's looking good, bruv. It's looking good, bruv, for the Michigan Wolverines over there. But
let's go, JJ McCarthy.
Hey, Rod, you wanted to give a little quick touch on the FSU Clemson game. That game was insane, bro.
Vic, let Vic go real quick. I think Vic has something he wants to add real quick.
Thank you so much. I was over here shaking. I know, Sammy, I told you pre-show that I didn't really have anything to add on the Colorado game, but I did find a little nugget here. So Colorado to date has had the second hardest strength of schedule according to Pro Football Focus. The remaining schedule is 50th, so they still have a 79% chance to make a bowl. So I am kind of slightly coming around to Colorado and what Coach Prime is building there, but I'm not all the way there yet.
Hey, Rock, you heard that? All right, cool.
I don't love that though because I think TCU is overrated, and I think that's what makes their schedule look harder than it actually is.
We'll see.
Sorry, that's all I had to say on that. Hey, Rod, please let us know about FSU Clemson.
I mean, the only insight I'll put on FSU is, it looks like they're back. Like the program looks like it's trending in the right direction. FSU has historically been somewhat of a powerhouse, and then sometimes they just die for a little bit, and then like the Phoenix from the ashes, they rise again. The real takeaway here is how Clemson has been that powerhouse for a very long time now. And Kay and I always allude to this. We were big Dabo Swinney fans, but when he wanted to open up his mouth and say these players, they shouldn't get paid and this and that, well, I think the chickens came home to roost, man. Now it's starting to light a fire under your ass to start winning some games. And one of your biggest rivals in FSU, beats the brakes, or he didn't beat the brakes off, but still beat them. But the quarterback doesn't look good. I don't know. I don't know if it's the end of an era for Clemson football. I don't want to say it is. I just think some of these big programs, they can't keep it consistent like Alabama can. But it's looking like it's a down year for Clemson this year, and FSU is like the Price is Right guy. Going up the mountain right now.
Clemson hung in there.
Clemson should have won that game. By every estimation, in my opinion, Clemson should have won that game, and they shot the bet.
What? Really? Why? Why do you think they should have won that game?
Bro, if you look at they got outgained by Clemson, outgained Florida State. Florida State has been outgained basically by every team this year. I don't know how they putting points on the board. I mean, they got scooping scores and pick sixes and all that shit, but FSU has not done anything impressive. I think LSU was the most impressive game. Boston College, they should have lost that one too. Clemson, they should have lost that one. I mean,
what I said in the pregame, Sammy.
Buddy missed a 29-yard field goal. That would have. I mean, he missed a 29-yard field goal. Like, when does that shit happen? And they were talking about him pregame about, like the kid from Dallas, the Cowboys. Like, what a story, blah blah blah. He misses a 29-yard damn field goal. So now Florida State has not done anything to me to push me over the edge. It's nice to see them, relevant. That's cool, but that's about it.
I like that. All right, let's finish off the college football segment. Vic, Alabama, Mississippi State. I remiss all of my comments from last week. Alabama looks like they're coming a little bit back on track, like you guys alluded to. KK, Vic. So Vic, Jalen Milroe, talk to us.
Hey, he had a lot more productive game this game. A total passer rating of 107.3. He didn't pass a whole lot, only 23 attempts, but completed 17 of those passes. So for a total of 81%, 225 passing yards. Looked a lot better than last week. As a team, Alabama did. They outgained Ole Miss, since we're talking yards, offensive yards per game here, and they held on to the ball in terms of possession. So it was 34 minutes to Ole Miss's 25 minutes there.
I was hoping you would say that. I really appreciate you saying that.
There you go. I had to. You called it out, so I had to say it. So now, how do I feel about Alabama moving forward? Well, I don't know if you guys remember last week, but I called them to make the national championship, and I still stand by that. I think the offense is going to come around. They've had the 8th hardest strength of schedule to date, according to Pro Football Focus. The remaining schedule, 65th. So I think they're going to breeze into the SEC championship game against Georgia and end up having to play Georgia in the SEC championship. If they win that game, they're in the playoffs, and then anything can happen. Right now, they have a 13% chance to win the conference compared to Georgia's 45% chance. But I'll take that chance any day of the week, especially how they looked 2 weeks ago. I think this is an Alabama team that's coached up and ready to make a run. I believe in Nick Saban. I believe in Alabama.
Believe, bruv.
Okay, you got a rebuttal to that?
I mean, nothing to rebuttal. I'm just looking at their schedule. I mean, it's obviously the SEC. They got Mississippi State, Texas A&M. I mean, they got teams that they got to still kind of get past. But no, like he's right. I mean, remember I said it last week. He finally got me around. Somehow I was like, damn, maybe they will.
I was gonna say, you're still convinced.
If any year they should have did the 12-team playoff, it should have been this year, man. Like, like the Pac-12 and the SEC has so much talent. Like I wanted to see that this year already with all those quarterbacks. Washington with Penix, USC obviously. I mean, there's just so much good football out there right now. So that's the part that I'm a little sad about. So we'll see who makes the Final Four. But yeah, I mean, Alabama could very well run the table. So we'll see. Nick Saban's not gonna let them lose like that. You know what I mean? Like again, like USF was basically a loss. Let's be honest. So yeah, they needed to bounce back from that. So
all I gotta add, Sammy, is I'm gonna watch more college football for you boys. I watched that whole LSU Arkansas game, and holy shit, that was the game of the week. I think in my books.
I'm sorry to you know me. I like to speak. That was something that I forgot who said it, but he said, everyone's giving Deion Sanders a hard time for being so popular, and his approach is very different. And Colorado's getting so much coverage. College football ratings are through the roof right now. Like people were watching Colorado get blown out. There was still 10 million viewers watching that game, while they're getting blown out 35-0. Like there's still people watching the game. Like college football right now is at a place that they wanted it to be, and NIL and transfer portal and all that shit. We cry about it all summer, but when the games are on the field, it's like all right, this is good football. So the fact if you can get A-Rod to watch college football, but some shit is going right.
But look at this past week, though, KK. I think that's also a big thing. Look at the schedules they've been giving us. They've been treating us. If you think about it, they've been treating us. Like, there's some really good games for the last 2 weeks that, like, a 12 o'clock game that's 2 ranked teams, a 3 o'clock game that's 2 ranked teams, and an 8 o'clock game that's 2 ranked teams. It hasn't been like that for a while,
Right.
So, but all right. Back to some of our bread and butter. NFL Week 3, crazy shit going on. Obviously, I mean, KK, we could, you could quiet down over there. You could own it. You guys are good right now. You could chill. You chilling over there. Look at him.
I mean, I ain't gonna say nothing.
He's smoking that buck pack right now.
Smoking that buck pack over there.
Listen. All I got to say, we took this city over. I mean, shit. It was a Phillies home game.
More green.
It was a Phillies home. It looked like Christmas out there. The amount of green and red out there, it was wild.
It was crazy.
I'm just saying, I don't care if it's ugly or pretty.
I mean, I'll be honest. It started soft, but it got hard. Pause. Yo. But no, it was Y'all own that. All right.
You want to real quick? You want to know how I knew we did our shit? They scored a touchdown with 9 minutes to go. We never gave the ball back.
Yep.
You know how embarrassing that is to impose your will on another group of men, pause, like that, and there ain't shit you can do about it. 9 minutes. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Run the numbers.
Baker Mayfield was very, very exposed that game. But all right, real quick, obviously, Jets, Patriots this past weekend. The under hit, by the way, that 37-point under hit. So that's good news if you took that under like we told you to. A-Rod, I'll start with you. I know you didn't watch much of the game, but I know you have a lot of plugs. I know you get a lot of the coverage on the Jets and the weather going on over there. So what's the temperature like in Jets country?
The temperature's all over the place once again. And Sammy and I were at the Nas and Wu-Tang concert this weekend, so we ain't watch a lick of that game. We got out of drunken coma and we saw, the Patriots won. And
I had good seats.
I wanted to drown myself in that pool is what I wanted to do. But my temperature and Jets temperature all over is everywhere right now. You've got a head coach that's sticking by a quarterback that – Vic, I don't know what film you watch on this guy and you think that he's a good quarterback. Like, he's horrible. He's dog shit. He's literally dog shit. He does. Oh, you said along those lines. We have the receipt, sir.
You said he was way better than Mac Jones.
I said he doesn't suck. But I retract that statement. He sucks.
Okay, thank you. So
is Mac Jones.
Coming from Jets country, the head coach is putting all of this faith in Zach Wilson, and it's just not it. The whole team knows it. The defense now is up in arms, ready to revolt against it. They're upset that Salah's putting Zach Wilson in control and sticking with that. And then we go out and get Trevor Siemian as a backup. We had him last year and. Come on, man. We can do better than this. Trevor Siemian, he looks like a thumb. The last great thing Trevor Siemian did was that post he did for Peyton Manning getting out of the pool and whatever, that bullshit. But Aaron Rodgers came on the Pat McAfee show and tried to rally the troops and said, keep the faith. Sauce Gardner has said that. Fireman Ed is on it, but if you want to ask every Jets fans right now, it's panic mode, man. If Zach Wilson is running the show, it doesn't look right. And now everybody's telling the defense, they got to step up. Well, if Zach Wilson's turning the ball over all the time or not completing any passes and going, 3 and out every freaking drive, defense is going to get tired. If you look at that game, look at the time the defense was on the field compared to the offense. It's ridiculous. You can't put this on the defense. They held them to 13 points. That's pretty fucking good. So, as a Jets fan, if you want how I feel, yeah, man, there's a news somewhere around here. So, I'm on suicide watch kind of. So just when you see a Jets fan, I told you at the beginning of the year, embrace them, love them, say, yeah, you guys got it this year. Now embrace them again and tell them it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, man.
We do therapy sessions, bro. I got you, right?
I know.
I got a question for you, A-Rod. What do you think about what Joe Namath said?
Oh, speak your mind, old head. Do your thing, man. I mean, you're the worst quarterback in the Hall of Fame, but
Thank you. That's the problem I have. Joe Namath, his completion percentage 50%, touchdown to interception ratio 173 to 220, passer rating 65.5. I don't want to hear no shit from you because you put on a fucking fur coat 50 years ago. Like, come on, I'm sorry.
But he got one game. He got
the script was really good that year. That's all it was. 173 touchdowns to 220 interceptions, and you got time to talk about Zach Wilson? Like, man, leave that man. Like, try to make him feel better about himself. Don't tear the man down. Like, kind of like that. Be a mentor. It's a fraternity, right? It's especially within the Jets. You got to go into the locker room and try to hype him up. Don't tear the man. I mean, do you know how many people is tearing that man down every single day? And then you got the greatest Jet tearing him down even more. It's like it's messed up. I'm sorry, bro. I was not happy about that shit at all.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't happy either. I think there's another route you can go about it, but I mean, even Lavernius Coles and Wayne Corbett were alluding to it too. He's just not the answer. But it's clear as writing on the wall there, though. Even if we reverse the teams and Zach Wilson is your quarterback and KK, you got your defense and your offense out there, how would you feel if he's doing that shit?
You know who I had? I had Carson Wentz. And
I don't go with Carson.
After when Carson Wentz started getting trashed, I still try to stick by him as much as possible. I'm like, no, he just needs a little bit of help here, there. Like, everybody's so quick to just jump on this dude. Like, get a man. Like obviously this is not easy for him. Like, what he's dealing with, the cards that he was dealt, he did not expect to be in this fire right now. And
I gave him 3 years, bro, and I haven't seen a single fucking thing happen.
He's been hurt, he's been dealing with, I don't know, man.
That's on his own, bro.
His girlfriend broke away because he slept with her mom or some shit.
I don't give a fuck about all this spicy shit,
bro. But
he does not look good. He does not look good, and it would have been beneficial for this year for him to sit. And I still think that's what should be done. If he shows up like dog shit against Kansas City, they got to sit him. They got to put in Simeon or Boyle or somebody. I don't care, but dude, this guy sucks, man. It just hurts to see it. That's all I got to say. Go Patriot time.
What did you think of that Patriots game? And after you talk, I have a confession to make.
Oh yeah, Mac Jones is dog shit. So if we want to look at the game last week, the Pats. Let's just look at the team stats here, right? While my computer loads. We outgained the fucking Jets 358 offensive yards to 171, yet we were only able to put up 15 points. How the fuck does that make sense? That makes zero sense, dudes. All right? We were in the red zone a total number of fucking 0 times. That's ridiculous, man. That's even the Jets were in the red zone one time. And guess what? They fucking scored a touchdown. It's crazy how that stuff works. The New England Patriots are absolutely fucked. We have Mac Jones at quarterback, and he sucks dick. And then if you look at our offensive line, Sammy, it's not much better. I don't know what they're thinking over there in Foxborough, but Gardner Minshew's over there killing it in Indianapolis right now. Why is he not our backup? Why do we continually stack our backups up with younger players that are fucking 6th-round draft picks? Tom Brady isn't walking through that door, folks. Julian Edelman is not walking through that door, folks. Logan Mankins is not walking through that door. This team's in trouble, Sammy. And to make things worse, they've had the 4th hardest schedule in football so far. So does that make you feel a little bit better about those losses, Sammy? Well, it shouldn't, because we have the 3rd hardest remaining schedule coming up. So we are not out of the woods even by a little bit. Right now, Pro Football Focus has our percentage of making the playoffs at 25%. I would say it's even lower than that. I am worried about the New England Patriots and Robert Kraft's inability to spend money. He does this with the Patriots. He does this with the New England Revolution. He does this with every team he owns. He doesn't get the same shit that John Henry gets. Fuck that guy. But he still should, because he doesn't spend a lick on this team, and it shows. It really shows.
Damn, you went off.
I'm upset.
You went off.
And that's all I got to say.
I don't know how to follow that. Other than
I want you to say, Seamus, do your confession. I got something to say though.
I got a confession to make. I tried my best in every possible way to be a Mac Jones apologist, to find ways to just prove that he's not as bad as this team is.
What did you tweet
and
last year?
I'm not ready
One more
to
time.
say like he's the worst. I'm not ready to say that I hate him or whatever, but I am ready to say that I am off the bandwagon. I am done defending him because, no offense, A-Rod, this game against the Jets was his game to prove to me that he could move the ball up and down the field, that he could do something like Vic alluded to, get into the red zone more than 0 times, and he couldn't. He made some pretty good throw. I thought, and the reason why I'm saying this now is because I thought he showed really good poise against the Eagles, but it seems like he's getting worse every week. And I don't like that. And that's my only point. I'm not willing to say that all the Patriots' woes are Mac Jones' fault, but he kind of sucks. Like he's just not who I thought he was. That's all. I'm off. I am done apologizing for him, Vic, and thank you for bringing me around.
Is it fair to say that we're just? I mean, can we give some credit to the New York Jets defense? Yeah, I remember Josh Allen week 1 threw 3 interceptions. He looked like shit. He looks a lot better now. Week 2, Dak Prescott looked like shit. And he still looks like shit because he's trash for real.
I would agree with you, but 358 offensive yards, and you can't put the damn ball in the biscuit in the basket. I mean, come on.
I mean, A-Rod, you know the defense is what this team was built around. All y'all needed was a quarterback, right? So I'm not surprised to see the Jets defense playing. I mean, they could only do so much when you got a shitty quarterback that can't keep his team on the field, obviously. But I think we got to give the Jets a little bit of credit on the defensive side.
I was in a sense when I mentioned he was getting worse because the Eagles are not a bad defense. The Dolphins are not a terrible defense, right? Like, if anything, those two combined could be viewed as about the same as the Jets defense. So you would expect him to like see some sort of improvement, right? Like, give us that 300-yard game, 2 touchdown game like you did against the Eagles, but he couldn't even do that. He couldn't even do that.
That's fair. I mean,
and he was. I'm sorry, KK. I know you want to go off, but I gotta get my words in here with this team. I am so upset. Right, I'm seething, man. I'm seething. How angry I am at this man. And I loved Mac Jones in college. I loved him. I think he was a great Alabama quarterback. But then when he went to the NFL, I knew something was off because listen to this. So he had a total of 3 sacks. This game, he's been sacked several games, and a lot of that you can put on the offensive line and how bad the offensive line is. But his lack of mobility doesn't help that offensive line. Doesn't help take off from that offensive line. I love that he has the heart. We all can agree he has the heart. He wants to be there. He wants to win. But at some point, you just have to say, hey man, you just don't got that dog in you. Yeah. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. All right, and to both of y'all, or all 3 of y'all, because you guys are in the AFC East, we all saw what the Buffalo Bills did to the Bears, not the Bears, whoever they played this weekend, the Washington Commanders, and we all saw the shit that Miami put on Denver. So obviously we know there are 2 teams ahead of you guys that are just, elite, right? How much stock do you put into what they did this weekend? And do you think you're just that far away from being able to do, being even in that realm, you know what I mean?
I think when you see what Miami did to Denver, I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Patriots for how they schemed their defense. At first, I was giving them shit for running like a little cloud defense, like a little, bitch-ass defense. But that's probably how you have to play against the Miami Dolphins, in all honesty. Because if you try to go man on them, look what Denver, I don't know what Denver was thinking. They were trying to go man the whole game. They had 1 guy back every time. I'm like, why is there only 1 safety back there? That's really, really dumb. But I think there's a lot of credit, and I think that's where we're stuck in, and Vic alluded to this last year, this year, we're stuck in that purgatory, right? We're probably not going to be bad enough where we're going to get blown out. We might be close enough to get a couple wins by a field goal, maybe get lucky on a running back touchdown or a pick 6 or something, and we get a random win against, God forbid, maybe Dallas this week. I don't know, but we might be in that
let's go
7, 10, 8, and 9 range, you know what I mean? Just not that bad. but like we're just not gonna get a draft pick, and that's what's gonna fuck us. Like we're not gonna ever get a good quarterback. We're gonna get so fucked forever.
And this is just the last thing I want to say on this, and then I'll let A-Rod finish this off. But pause. I would not even be excited if we got the first overall pick, because knowing Bill, he'd trade down to go like the 10th pick and then pick like a left guard at South Boise State, and and we'd still be stuck with Mac Jones for 5 more years. But I understand, we're at a real crossroads. I love Bill Belichick and everything that man's done for the organization. Of course, he's a legend. I would never call for his firing or his I don't want to see him gone, but maybe let somebody else take over the general manager role. And and I know Kraft has been great, holding the state of Massachusetts hostage a few times when threatening to move the team. But can he sell the team possibly? Because that'd be great.
He ain't selling the damn team. Come on, man.
Man, I'll keep it short and sweet for me. Just show me a gun right now. No Aaron Rodgers. I don't believe in him, man. It's just bad to watch. We literally picked up from last year is all we did. Same thing. Great defense, but no faith in the quarterback. The whole team doesn't have faith in him. I think they all thought, like I said earlier, this is his sitting. This is the year he's going to sit. He's going to learn. He's going to mature. But they just threw him right back in there, and it doesn't look good. He's painting his own career right now, and it's forever a backup or a gamble is all they're going to have out of him.
Fair. So let's go to this next segment. Obviously, you guys really like this segment, and I didn't want to pick a player on any of your guys' team because you guys are all wacky. You're no fun. You're always going to pick your player. So I picked somebody kind of random, somebody kind of up and coming, and that's C.J. Stroud. I think he's an interesting quarterback to look at right now, considering obviously, again, it's still really, really early in the season, so you can take some of that weight with what you will. But I just wanted to put him up there and compare him to some of the other quarterbacks and see if you like someone else a little bit better than C.J. Stroud. Let's start with, give me 1 second. This is great podcasting. I had it up and then
Right. I will say real quick. Remember we were talking about Brock? I mean, that dude I know San Francisco, that team is loaded with talent, but he don't be making mistakes, bro. Like he doesn't. He just plays. I don't know why. Like I think him and Zach Wilson have a very similar skill set. I don't know why Zach Wilson don't just play like Brock Purdy.
True.
I'm gonna just say that. So yeah.
All right, so we'll start fairly easy. This might be kind of obvious. So we'll start at the top and we'll work our way down. And this is actually based on stats right now. So C.J. Stroud or Kirk Cousins?
Who started?
Vic.
Okay, so I will say this. I'm going to give you a soliloquy on C.J. Stroud real quick. So C.J. Stroud was my favorite quarterback coming out of college, right?
Yeah.
Just FYI, I said he was going to be the best quarterback in this draft. I am right so far, and I'm going to be right for the future. He has 121 attempts, which is tied for 4th in the NFL, and 0 interceptions. I'm taking C.J. Stroud all day long.
A-Rod. Oh, wait 1 second, A-Rod. 1 second. Do that take again. What'd you say?
I said, this is tough for me because I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan. I like what he does. Love to see him in green. This is my pitch for you right now. But you know what? I really do like C.J. Stroud a lot. Give me C.J. Stroud.
KK.
After I watched what Kirk Cousins did with 33 seconds left on the clock, they got a first down against the Chargers, and he's just going he don't have no field presence whatsoever. Clock the damn ball. That was the shittiest coaching I've ever watched in my life, and Kirk Cousins made that shit even worse. And what I've seen from C.J. Stroud, dude's a dog, man. I'm taking Stroud, man. The dude, in your first 3 starts, you just come out and you look like you've been doing this shit before. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he ain't seen ghosts like Sam Darnold was. He wasn't. My bad. I'm taking Stroud.
All right, let me make this a little bit tougher then. CJ Stroud or Tua Tagovailoa?
Tua.
Give me Tua.
Ooh, Vic.
This is for this year or this is for career? I always forget.
I think
Who do
it's
you
now
love?
going forward. Now going forward.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Tua's gonna have CT in like 2 years, so give me a CJ Stroud. And I will say this: Tua 16th in passing attempts, has 2 interceptions.
Okay, cool. He also has the best offense we've seen since the greatest show on
We're not
turf.
talking. So we were put CJ Stroud in that offense. Think about how good it'll be.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. What do we like about Tua in college? He got rid of the ball quick, and he used his weapons to his advantage, just like Mac Jones used to do. I don't know. You know, he don't have the same weapons, obviously, but this is the Tua that we used to like at Alabama. He knew he got the weapon. He took advantage of it.
Yep.
Give me. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
But you're right. Stroud to Ohio State, he did take advantage of his weapons. So he is making Tank Dell look good. So you're right.
And Nico Collins.
CJ Stroud
Go Blue.
or Justin Herbert?
Come on now, Herbert.
Herbie.
Can I go back? Am I last again? Dude, guys, I don't think you guys understand how much I love this guy. CJ Stroud is really good. He's great. Throws a great ball. Makes great decisions. Smart quarterback. Also, on top of that, very mobile for his size. He's a big guy, 6'3". I'm still gonna take Herbert here though.
Thank you. I was waiting. I was like, please don't.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. All right, I'll end it this one. So that we get like a nice idea of kind of where CJ Stroud is rising to. I'm not going to throw Pat Mahomes, even though he's got better stats than Pat Mahomes right now, other than the touchdowns. But Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud?
Damn.
This is a good one, Sammy.
Damn. Who's going first? I got to think.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take CJ Stroud because and only because of this. So think about Trevor Lawrence's first season with Jacksonville. How he couldn't buy a win, right? CJ Stroud's 3 games in. He already has a win, baby. Give me CJ Stroud.
It's a good argument. 1 second, KK. KK, repeat that.
That's true.
KK,
Yeah,
repeat
he got
that.
D'Amico.
I was saying, he also didn't have Urban Meyer. You know how Urban Meyer was doing his Trevor Lawrence's rookie year? He ruined that man's life. He brought Tim Tebow into the damn locker room off of a baseball field. Come on now. I don't want to use that as an example. But Trevor Lawrence, for somebody who I have a lot of love and respect for, he's a little too hot and cold for me. But it is still early with CJ Stroud's career, but I do like the trajectory that he's on. He also has a rookie head coach as well, so it's not like, well, I mean, it wasn't like Urban was a rookie head coach, but it's a first-year NFL head coach, and I think he's doing well with it. But I'm gonna still take Lawrence for now, but it's getting close. It's getting close.
I'm the deciding factor. So I'm big on D'Amico Ryans, and we don't have enough black quarterbacks in the league, so give me CJ Stroud.
But he's never going to win a Super Bowl, right?
Nah, never. He'll probably fire D'Amico Ryans at the end of the season because they don't like the inmates taking over the guards there. They said. No, I like CJ Stroud. I'm pretty high on him. I thought Bryce would be a lot better, but it just shows the woes in Carolina that are there. I don't think Reich's a really good coach. I don't think a lot of tools on that team are really good as well. And I just like CJ Stroud's. He kind of bamboozled me. I thought he was a little bit immature. I didn't think he was a leader, but seeing him go out there and play, dude looks like a leader. And they're putting together pieces there in Houston. And Trevor Lawrence, for me, I have all the respect in the world for him. I agree with KK 100%. He's too hot and cold for me. There's games where he throws for 500 yards. You're like, holy shit, this guy, why aren't we talking about him in MVP talks? And then he'll go out there and throw for 112 with 3 picks. And you're like, okay, that's why. So that's where I'm leaving it at.
And at some point, we're going to have to start talking about Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree because, hey, I know he's not his dad yet, but he's putting out some talent right now. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was just interesting to see kind of where, now that we're in week 3, we can kind of see where all the quarterbacks and the position players are kind of ending up. And it's just interesting to see where these trajectories are. So that's why I was like, you know what? CJ Stroud would be a good one. And it's really interesting to see where you guys kind of ranked him, right? So for the first two guys, you guys were all instantly picking one person, and then it started to get to a point where he's kind of in that range. He's starting to get talked about a little bit more. So
he's got my respect. Got my respect.
That's kind of what I was hoping for there. So I think that worked out. I'm gonna skip this Grim Reaper segment. We ran a little bit longer than I wanted, so let's go real quick to the who's phony, who's fake. So I'll let Vic, you can start off. I know we just talked about the boy Trevor Lawrence. So the Jacksonville Jaguars obviously got their asses handed to them this past weekend. Is that a cause for concern?
What was that? Is that cause for concern? Yes. Mainly because if you look at Trevor Lawrence, he's the third ranked quarterback according to Pro Football Focus currently, right? But his offensive line ain't there, buddy. He's got Little on left tackle, which is his best offensive lineman. But even through that, everybody else is in the 30s or the 50s. His wide receivers, Christian Kirk looks like he's taken a step back, in my opinion. Last year, he was definitely a force. I hate to be cliche, but he was definitely a guy that would get open, would make big plays. Now it looks like Calvin Ridley's taking that spot, and Kirk has been kind of sidelined to the slot role, which he doesn't seem very adept to. Now, the only reason I worry about them is because Trevor Lawrence isn't the problem here, and he hasn't been the problem, right? The problem has been the offensive line, even in the defense too. The defense really hasn't been that great altogether either. But if we're looking at power rankings, we're looking at the remaining strength of schedule. We go to the Jags here, and we got them at 25th to date, right? 25th scheduled to date, strength of schedule to date, and then I don't know. I just don't see it, man. I think this is another year where they don't make the playoffs. It's the same shit over and over again. They're 1-2 overall. They've had the 21st most points scored in the league, and they've allowed the 23rd. They're just in the middle. That's just what they are. 17th overall ranked, like I said, according to Pro Football Focus. 14th offense, 20th defense. A-Rod, tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. And a very winnable year for the AFC South. I don't think they're winning the AFC South.
I mean, be afraid of the dreadnought. I say it all the time, man. Derrick Henry, he's king for a reason. But I agree with you. I think that's not crazy to say. I always think of the Jaguars as we romanticize too much on the Jaguars. I think we see Trevor Lawrence and we see him.
We just did it this year. I don't think it's too much.
I think too much.
Now we do, maybe. That's why I was asking if they're real or fake now. Because yes, recently we're kind of hyping them up a lot because of what they did last year, but
yeah, but I mean, if you listen to our past podcasts, we're very high on the Jaguars every year. Now I just think we're starting to come down on them and kind of see pause. They're just kind of middle of the pack. They're nothing special, but also the AFC, but the AFC South is, it's pretty weak. Let's be honest, it's pretty weak. It's the most boring division of football to watch, in my opinion.
Really? With Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Trevor
Lawrence,
we got quarterbacks now.
But this is a very
Richardson
winnable
can't
year,
stay
right?
on the field.
We're only 3 games in, guys, but it's one game out.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's way too early to just put the casket and bury them already. I mean,
I still think if you look at all the other divisions in football, you'll be like, I'd rather watch this matchup than watching Tennessee play Indianapolis.
Exactly.
I think you'd rather watch the Vikings play Green Bay.
You want to watch Falcons and the Panthers play?
Except that
NFC South is terrible too.
Yeah, except that.
But I will say this. I mean, I know KK, you're saying it's 3 weeks in the season. This is our job, brother. That's what it's saying. Is who's real, who's fake. Yeah. I'm saying they're fake. I'm
saying they're fake too. I'm saying they're fake too.
They real. Listen, man. Listen. Let's calm down, right? They over the last 10, 15 years, if you go look at, I forgot what the record is. The Jags cannot beat the Texans. They have a horrible record against the Texans.
At home.
Just as much as the Jags own the Colts. So division play is just division play. The Patriots, no matter how good or how bad they are, they ain't gonna figure out how to beat the Jets lately. That's just how it is. So You got to understand, like, the way division football works, it's a little weird. I'm still picking the Jags to win that division. So Anthony Richardson's still a child. C.J. Stroud is still a child. And Tennessee has. You talk about Derrick Henry. He had 11 carries for 20 yards last game. Like, what the hell is that? Come on now. He had 25 for 80 and 50. I mean, he hasn't done shit all year either. The Titans are boring. You want to talk about boring? The Titans are the most boring team to watch in football. So I'm still sticking with the Jags to win that division. I think it was just a little hiccup. They can't beat the Texans. D'Amico Ryans has these boys playing hard, but I'm still gonna rock with the Jags on this one.
All right, KK, let's continue it again with you. And it's a little bit of a mixed bag here with the Cardinals stomping on the Cowboys, not just winning, but stomping on them, which I'm sure you were really, really happy about. But
it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's the Cardinals.
It's crazy, man. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been very, very impressed with Josh Dobbs' play, and a lot of the losses have not been on him. And the way that offense is running. Obviously, it's their defense. They lack the talent on that end. Now, do you think the Cardinals are that team that can play robber to a lot of these other teams going forward? And also, is there some concern with the Cowboys considering the Trayvon Diggs injury? Are they being exposed a little bit?
Man, we all know the Cowboys have been frauds. Come on, man. I know I was talking Cash Money about them last week, and I was trying to hype them up. I knew what I was doing. You got to understand, when I start hyping up the Cowboys, they start being shitty. So I knew my psychological warfare was going to work. And I'm watching this Cardinals game. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna lose this game. Josh Dobbs, Kyler Murray needs if they're not going to go in and all in on tanking this year for Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray is going to come back a lot sooner. The Jets need to go get Josh Dobbs. That's what they need for the rest of the season. Like, yo, we need somebody to like make us look formidable. The fact, I mean, honestly, Dak Prescott does not impress me. CeeDee Lamb is all they really have on the outside, and he's still not that impressive to me. Defensively, I mean, they just let them run the football on them all day long. I mean, James Conner, I mean, everything was wide. I mean, Marquise Brown, obviously, without Trayvon Diggs, now you got old-ass Stephon Gilmore, and we were talking about cornerbacks earlier, when we did our top 10 cornerbacks. Stephon Gilmore is still old. You know, he's an old man. I mean, it was nice to see Patrick Peterson get an interception the other night, but I mean, his old ass can't be chasing around fast-ass Marquise Brown. So, and that's where Trayvon Diggs will help. And then Michael Parsons, as long as you find a way to just triple team him, whatever you got to do, you keep your quarterback up tight, I think you're fine. I think the Cowboys been frauds. If they can't stop the Cardinals run, what you think we're going to do to them? We're going to hit them for 300. So bring them on. Come on. They fake. They phony.
I like that. All right.
Phony.
So
Vic, let Vic talk. Vic's got something to say.
Oh, yeah. Vic.
Yeah. I just had a crazy trade scenario pop up when KK was talking, and I wanted to run it past you guys. New England Patriots send a second and a third to the Arizona Cardinals, along with Mac Jones for my guy Kyler Murray. Who says
Bill
no?
Belichick?
Who says no?
Bill Belichick is not going to deal with that. I'm sorry.
But let me ask you this: would you guys, you guys are neutral parties, KK and A-Rod. Would you rather have Mac Jones or Kyler Murray? And let's say we're both saying they're on the Patriots, so Bill Belichick's the coach, not the guy that's like fireworks, pew pew pew.
Damn. I would rather have Kyler Murray, the talent, obviously, but.
Right.
He can't. I mean, he's small, can't stay healthy. And Mac Jones is, like I said, since he got drafted, has already reached his ceiling, and there's not more that he can go. And we clearly seen that this far into his career that he's already reached where he's supposed to be. Kyler Murray can still do things that a lot of other quarterbacks can't do, but he also can't see over the offensive line. So, pick your poisons. So I don't know. But Kyler Murray will make your offense look a little bit more exciting if that's what you're looking for. And you want to sell tickets. So I'll take Kyler Murray.
I'll just say this. Kyler Murray is black, and Bill Belichick won't pull that one really quick. You got to have a white quarterback there. So
that's not true. Bill Belichick was in love with Cam Newton. Like, he had a man crush on him.
I retract.
And he had a man crush on Lamar Jackson too. So that's not true.
I'll retract that statement.
Brissett,
if it was a white
y'all forget about Brissett?
And Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett white, bro. You ever heard him talk, man?
Have you seen his skin color?
It is, but like,
what does it say?
Bill can pick that out. Bill be like,
Have
okay.
you seen his skin color, Alex Rodriguez?
I have.
Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. I take my statement back. If it was a white wide receiver or running back, definitely all
There
over
you go. There you go.
Personally, I think it'd be like I agree with what KK said, but personally, I have a vendetta against Kyler Murray. I think he just makes your locker room a bad, smelly place. I think he's a spoiled brat since he was in college, getting drafted by the A's and all of that. So to carry that in there, maybe he just does need a change of scenery. I just don't think New England would be the team to gamble on that. I'd rather stick with Mac Jones. I think if you guys just gave Mac Jones viable weapons, you'd be okay, as opposed to 6-round draft picks that you're hoping to pan out to be wide receiver ones. So.
All right, A-Rod, continuing with you, can you talk about our key matchups from last week? Can you give us a little tally of the score?
So, KK, of course, is in the lead. He's got 4 right.
Why you gotta say of course, man?
I know, he's at 5. I gotta go from the top to the bottom. Me and Vic got 3, and you're sitting at 2, my man. So,
yikes.
But I know you're sitting at 2. It's okay.
Yikes. So, all right, so I picked a few games for this week. I think I picked some pretty good ones. There's a lot of duds for this weekend, so not a super great weekend of football, but an interesting week of football. So Thursday night, we actually are blessed with actually a pretty interesting game. Division rival. We got the Lions at the Packers. The Lions are -1.5. The over-under is 46. Who do you like? And if you would like, you can tell us why you like them. So I'll start with you, KK.
Well, you know me, I'm not the numbers guy, but Thursday night football games are always really weird. So if I was like a gambling man, I probably wouldn't take an over on a Thursday night football game. It's a short week, everything's kind of weird. So I'll probably go under on that. But as far as like who's winning that game, you know how I feel about Jordan Love, man. I got the Packers winning that division. I think this is their most important game of the season right now, because last year at the end of the season, the Packers needed to win that game. And the Lions win and just beat their ass, right? So I think the Packers need their get back, and Jordan Love gonna show me something. So, and they're getting Christian Watson and Aaron Jones back, so I'm going with the Packers.
Hey, Rod, who you got?
We allude to this all the time. I always am the biggest Dan Campbell fan in the world, but KK has to bring me down to earth when it comes to the players on the field. What's the quarterback's name again? What's the clown's name? The quarterback? Goff. Jared Goff. Jared Goff doesn't play well outside of the dome, so I'm going Green Bay. Pause.
Vic? Wait 1 second, Vic. Wait 1 second. All right, go ahead.
All right, Sammy, let me give you a little story here, okay? So in one of my fantasy leagues, at the Dynasty League, I traded Joe Burrow and a second-round pick for C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. Go Pack, go. I like the Packers at home against the Lions.
I am taking the Lions there. So give me the Lions. I'll probably have only 2 wins next week. So for the next game that I put on there, Vic, I will continue with you. We got the Ravens at the Browns on Sunday, 1 p.m. or 1 p.m. game. Cleveland is the favorite by 3. The over-under is 40.5. Who do you like, Vic?
I'm surprised we didn't talk London game.
Why would we?
Well, it's going to be simulcast on Disney Plus, right? Can we talk about that for a second?
Go ahead.
No. It's going to be on
Toy Story. You're right. Yeah.
So it's going to be Toy Story. This is going to be amazing. If you have kids, which most of the people listening probably don't, but if you do have kids, I think that'd be a great look. I can't wait to see it. I think we made a lot of jokes about if we thought that player got injured, what would they do? With the toys, would it be like Andy throwing away the toy, being, I don't want to play with you anymore. But yeah, okay. Back to the podcast. Sorry, Sammy. We got the Ravens who are 2-1 against the spread. We got the Browns who are 2-1 against the spread. The market has the Browns +3 at the Ravens +3 at the Browns. A lot of the money is actually going on the Ravens here. I actually like the Ravens on the road +3 at Cleveland. Give me the Ravens. Even in straight up, I actually like the Ravens because I am not a fan of the Browns.
A-Rod.
Come on out, you rapist. Nah, give me Baltimore, man.
I think the Browns are gonna be, they're getting better. The only reason why I'm picking the Ravens to win this game is because they lost to the Colts, and I can't see my dog Lamar going back to back, losing to Gardner Minshew, and then turning. I mean, mind you, there was a pass interference that was missed in that game.
100%.
That shit pissed me the hell off. But I got Lamar Jackson getting his get back and beating the Browns on the road.
Give me the Browns. Fuck all y'all. All right, so we got a very big game, and I know KK, you kind of touched on it earlier, so it was a perfect segue. So we have a game to prove who the beast of the East is, or the AFC East, that is. We have the Dolphins at the Bills. Bills are surprisingly, I guess it's not that surprising, but the Bills are favored by 2.5. The over-under is 54. Holy cannoli, so that we could potentially have a shootout. So, okay, who do you like there?
I just want to say they need to flex out that Chiefs and Jets game and put this shit on Sunday Night Football because that's about to be a movie.
Facts.
I'm taking the Bills at home.
All right. A-Rod.
Yeah, I'll petition to have that too, man. I didn't want to watch. It's hard to beat Buffalo at home. The Dolphins got to get one eventually, so I'm going to go with it now. I'm going Buffalo.
Vic?
I'm just reading some numbers here. So it looks like Vegas is pretty spread on this. Actually, holy shit, no, it's not. 79% of the cash is going towards the Bills, minus half. 47% of the tickets. Give me the Bills -3 at home, even though the Dolphins are currently 3-0 against the spread. And I'm gonna give you a little best bets here, guys. A little player prop for you, if you will. I got Gabe Davis under 3.5 receptions.
Under. You know what? I got to say something. I'm switching to the Dolphins. I'm switching my pick to the Dolphins. I don't even know why. It's because if they got to play the Bills, right? They don't want to play them in December. They want to play them in September. This is the perfect time for them to get a victory. I'm switching my pick to the Dolphins.
I got the Dolphins too.
I still think Vegas. 79% of the cash is on Buffalo, but 53% of the tickets are on Miami. The math doesn't add up, gentlemen.
It's not mathing, but I'm going with the Dolphins.
Math is not mathing. All right. So another more funny than anything game that we got. We got the matchup. I think we have two games that are 2 0-3 teams. One of them being the Broncos at the Bears, which I think is interesting. The Broncos are favored by 3.5, despite the Bears being at home. The over/under is 46. So, Vic, who do you like there?
Why are you making us do this game? Okay, this is the battle. Not only are these is this the battle of the unwinnings, but this is also the battle of the unwinnings against the spread. Neither of these teams have beat the spread once. Sammy, this is a toss-up to me. I am going Broncos because at least they have a semi-capable quarterbacking, and a semi-capable coach. So give me the Broncos on the road, -3.5.
A-Rod.
We got 2 0-3 matchups this week. We got the Vikings and the Panthers either. I just felt this one was a little bit more intriguing. I'm going Broncos country. Let's ride. The ride.
Okay.
Man, I feel so bad for Justin Fields and what they got going. Chicago's a dumpster fire, so I know it was bad for the Broncos last week, and they can't get any worse than that, so I'm going with the Broncos.
I think it's a clean sweep. I'm taking the Broncos to
turn that shit around.
Yeah. All right, so I had a tough choice on this last one, but I think these are two teams that I think are a little better than what their current record shows, despite one of the teams being a little bit boring. I think both of these teams desperately need a win. So I had the Bengals at the Titans for our final game for this key matchup this week. Got the Bengals favorite by 2.5 again. The over-under is 41, so that's interesting that the Bengals are favored. I think Vegas also thinks that the Bengals might have something in them. Pause. So, KK, who do you like there?
I'm rocking with my dog, Joe Burr.
Joey B.
Bengals.
A-Rod.
I'm seeing tiger stripes.
Vic.
All right, guys. So this is another one. We got the Titans who are 2-1 against the spread. The Bengals, surprisingly, spread darling last year, are 0-3 against the spread this year. Give me the Titans at home. I need to zig where everybody's zagging so I can gain some points here.
Yeah, I think I was gonna do with the Titans there too. I like their coaching a little bit better. But all right, that ends a lot of our NFL segment. So I know we had a little bit more to get to, but I know we took a little bit longer on some other segments. So I know we have some much more pressing news, which I think we got about 10, 15 minutes to touch on this. So we should all get in some really good takes here. But Damian Lillard to the Bucks. Okay, I'm gonna let you take it away. I know you up on the NBA. Tell me about the trade. Who won the trade? Tell me what were your first thoughts. All that. Damian Lillard to the Bucks. Wait 1 second, Kay. 1 second. All right, go ahead.
In case you guys live under a rock and you don't know when big shit is happening in the NBA, Damian Lillard was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks today. It was a 3-team trade. So first of all, Miami Heat fans, the fact that y'all thought Tyler Hero would be enough to go get Damian Lillard, what the hell are y'all smoking?
I got so many texts from Heat fans upset, and I'm like, you guys are dumb, right? Like, you guys clearly...
But what did y'all expect?
Yeah.
What did y'all really expect? Like, come on now. Like, that was disrespectful to think Tyler Hero... I'm going to just leave that shit alone right now. Anyway, sorry. Tyler Hero? Come on, man. The Bucks got Damian Lillard, so he's free from being the villain, because I can't believe y'all is trying to vilify my dude Damian Lillard after he's been the most loyal soldier to that team. He made a song and he shouted him out. So he's now in Milwaukee with Giannis. Giannis is probably going to resign now. The Blazers got Drew Holiday, who they're looking to shop. DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns, which I do like that change of scenery for him. And then some dudes I never heard of in pick swaps. And then the Suns got Yusuf Nurkic, who used to be solid, but he can't stay healthy. Grayson Allen, which is going to be good for their depth. And then there's Nasir Little and Keon Johnson. So obviously this is the big news. What this does in the East. We'll start with the Milwaukee Bucks. The last couple of years, even though the Milwaukee Bucks have not made it to the NBA Finals, I picked them every year over the last 3 years. Like, they're going to make it to the finals. They're going to make it to the finals. So nothing has changed for me. I still think they're going to make it to I still think they have the best chance to make it to the playoffs if they're able to orchestrate the team properly, as far as like getting the right ancillary pieces. I do like we talk about Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, right? And that 1-2 punch was crazy, and they had the right ancillary pieces. Now you got Damian Lillard, who's a top 75 player. You got Giannis, who's a freak in nature and who's working out with Hakeem Olajuwon now. That makes me feel happy, because when you're working out with my Nigerian brother, my uncle, that makes me know that you're serious. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the greats have worked out with Hakeem Olajuwon to get that low post shit right. So this is definitely going to be good for him. Chris Middleton becomes literally the third. He's now the number 3 guy. He doesn't have to be the closer anymore. He doesn't have to. I think this is perfect for Chris Middleton. He can just kind of how like when it was Steph and KD, Clay was just kind of flying under the radar, doing what the hell he wanted to do, because you got to show love.
That's a good
Steph,
point.
You got to show love to KD.
That's a good point.
Now Giannis, he goes into the lane, everybody's collapsing on him. Chris Middleton all he had to do was be a catch and shoot guy now. Damian Lillard can become a catch-and-shoot guy, and he can control the offense. And in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter is Dame time, right? So I think this is good for them. We'll see how Miami bounces back. They might try to go for Drew Holiday. Boston is still going to be, they're still. I think they look at the top 5 odds now. Milwaukee is catapulted to number 1, Denver 2, Boston 3. I still think that's pretty accurate. I think Boston's still going to be a tough out anyway. Miami is getting a little bit older, and they obviously couldn't get Damian. So I think this makes this is what we like. This is why we like free agency. We see NIL in college. We see free agency every summer in football now, and it's a lot crazier than it used to be. And now we got Damian Lillard. How like when KG finally left Minnesota and went to Boston, initial results, right? So I feel like this has a chance to kind of have that kind of feel where, I mean, Milwaukee's always been right there. They get in their own way sometimes. The injuries happens, but I think this should definitely be good enough to kind of get them over the top. They lose a little bit defensively, but we like the Dolphins. Sometimes you got to outscore the other team. The Dolphins just know they just outscore you, right? Milwaukee, Dame can give you 50. Giannis can give you 50. Chris Middleton can give you 35. Like Bobby Portis get you 25. Brook Lopez hits threes in the corner.
Out of here with that Bobby Portis shit.
Hey, I love Bobby Portis. That's A-Rod's boy, but no, I like the roster construction. I think this is good. Now the Suns, I like this for the Suns too. And Portland, I think all three teams got better. I think the Suns, you know how like they say addition by subtraction, they needed to get DeAndre Ayton out of that locker room, and now he can go have a fresh start with young Scoot Henderson, and they can kind of just build over there with Chauncey Billups. The Suns have a little bit more depth now, getting Grayson Allen, who, although I can't stand Duke players, he's one of the good ones. He's all right. He plays hard. And I think all three teams benefited in this trade. So disgruntled players are out of their locker rooms, and yeah, that's where I'm at. All I need as a 76ers fan is to go get Drew Holiday from Portland and bring him back home and get rid of James Harden. So if we have Drew Holiday, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid, and then we signed Kelly Oubre last week, which I don't understand it, but whatever. I think with that three, I'll start feeling a little bit better because we have somebody who has common sense.
You hear Jason Tatum talking about the Sixers on that Kevin Hart interview.
Oh, I didn't. The coldest balls. I didn't even watch it. What did he say?
He goes,
he's probably right.
Kevin Hart was like, "Oh yeah, but you got the Sixers are the way," and he was like, "Are they though?"
He's right. You know how I feel about the Sixers. Every year I'm like, yeah, second round exit. And I still think we're a second round exit. But if we get Drew Holiday, we have a grown up. That's what we haven't had a grown up in our locker room in a long time.
That's true.
We've seen a grown up. That's how I feel.
Vic.
And kudos to Milwaukee though.
I know you're shaking in your boots right now to talk about this Damian Lillard trade and what it means for the Boston Celtics, but also for the NBA. What do you got?
No, I don't really have anything on what it means to the Boston Celtics because we're a championship level team. Doesn't matter who's in our way.
Buffalo, baby.
Yeah, the Buffalo, exactly. Let's talk about Damian Lillard and something you pointed out there, KK. I'm not going to go into too much of a deep dive here, but get out your pens and your papers, gentlemen, because I'm going into numbers here. Let's look at Damian Lillard's catch and shoot percentage on threes last season, 36%. All right, that's fine. Let's look at his teammate Chris Middleton, who you said is going to catch and shoot these threes from Giannis driving now, 29% from catch and shoot on catch and shoot threes. Not great. But let's compare those guys to other type of ball dominant guards that don't really play off ball very much, but because that just could be a thing. So Kyrie has better catch and shoot numbers than Damian Lillard. Jalen Brunson, your guy A-Rod, much better catch and shoot numbers than Damian Lillard. I don't think he's going to play that role where he's going to be the catch and shoot guy. I think everybody thinks that Giannis is going to dominate the ball here. I think it's going to be the other way around. I think it's going to be kind of like Dame dominating the ball, maybe pick and roll, maybe. I don't see Giannis. I don't think I've ever seen Giannis in a pick and roll. Have you? Like where he just.
This is the time. I mean, this is the time where you exploit the other team by forcing that pick and roll, or go ahead, but yeah.
No.
I just don't think he can do it. I just don't think he can do it.
I mean, I've seen him go from this little skinny, scrawny kid to this dominant player. I think that he actually works on his game every summer. So I do think at some point it will happen.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he can't, but I just don't think you want to do that. I don't think that's in his wheelhouse, as a player, and that's fine. Like, I think he's better at other things than being a pick and roll player. That's just my opinion on it.
I got you.
I prefer him, at the top of the post. At the top of the key with the ball in his hands, just driving into somebody, not getting called for a charge. I think that's what he's doing.
But
a little bit of salt.
Him working out with Hakeem Olajuwon do you not think they're gonna put him in the post a little bit, kind of just like, yo, go to work, and if you got double, now you let some shit happen.
Yeah.
Do you think that could happen?
For sure.
Kick out.
Yeah. But I just talked about the kickouts, right?
Which is fine, but they don't have to shoot. You can keep moving the ball and get it to your. I mean, to me, Dame is still Dame. At the end of the day, like, I don't care about his catch and shoot numbers. Who the hell it was in Portland that was scaring anybody where he has, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that number is accurate for the situation.
I will say this. In terms of the pick and roll offense that Giannis ran last season, he ran less pick and rolls per game than Bobby Portis, Wendell Carter Jr., P.J. Washington, and only ran 0.4 more pick and rolls per game than Jason Tatum. I don't know that the pick and roll is going to be the move for this team, but maybe it is.
All right, there's a new head coach in town too. Let's not forget about that. So they're going to bring in their playbook and try and center it around these 3 stars that they have there, with, if you want to include Middleton. But I like it for Dame. I'm a huge Dame fan. I think that's my favorite player in the NBA. What? How can you hate him? There's no reason to ever hate that man.
He's a bitch.
There's no reason you can hate Jaylen Brown. He can't go right and he loses games for ball.
Don't hate Dame. Come on, that's my dog, man.
Reason to hate Dame.
You keep Jaylen Brown's mouth out of your goddamn mouth. You hear me?
Mouth out of your mouth.
Get his mouth out of his mouth.
Keep his mouth out of your mouth. Keep his hand out of your mouth.
Hey, Aaron, real quick. You know one of the coaches for Milwaukee, the assistant coach is Terry Stotts. His former coach in Portland.
When he was a baller.
I like it too. I like it. I like it a lot. When he was there, they were doing well. They should have never broke that band up, and I think that may have had something to do with him being okay with Milwaukee. Because when I heard Toronto's name being thrown out there, I was like, fuck, they're just trying to drag this man through the mud now. Like, that's just not a good look. Because now you're going to
pull a Kawhi on him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not going to happen there. So the Miami Heat, joke's on you. Y'all took too long. If you thought Tyler Hero was the answer to this, you were going to have to give up the farm, picks,
and
get another team
involved. Picks?
Exactly. What farm, what picks? Exactly. That's really what it is at the end of the day. What were you going to give up? And it seemed like it was too much to get Dame. And I know that's where he wanted to go, but I think seeing Terry Stotts there, Dame predicted this, by the way. A fan asked him, who's the player you want to play with the most in the NBA? He said Giannis. So he predicted this. He's there. It's a weird scenery for him. I just think it's going to work. I have good feeling that it's going to work. You've got 2 unselfish players playing with each other, that want to win a championship. And Chris Middleton, we don't sing his praises enough. I know he's like vanilla yogurt kind of, but he comes up big in games for these guys all the time. There'll be a game where he drops 45. Yeah, exactly. You know the pain. Tell us your woes. So I like the move a lot. I agree with KK, though. It all comes down to, now that you lost Drew Holiday, you've got more offense. Yes, a lot of those guys on that team can play pretty good defense. We know Dame is probably out of that bubble now, but I think they can go and get pieces. I saw that they may target Cameron Payne, and I was like, that would be just bad. I don't think Cameron Payne is an answer to help. Yeah.
I just love. Can we talk about how Dame Lillard was asked who he would want to play with in the NBA? He's like, oh yeah, I'd want to play with the best player in the NBA. Like, that's like some fucking revelation.
Yeah.
I mean, is he lying? I mean, if you ask me who I want to play with, I'm like, yeah, I want to play with LeBron. I want to play with,
I want to play with Giannis.
I want to play with all these guys.
I was going to give this guy the ball. He just runs downhill. Yeah, okay.
But especially, he named a big. He could have named another guard, but he named a. And you got to understand, every great guard historically, for the most part, except for Michael Jordan, they have an amazing big. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, this is exactly what he needed. Paul, whatever.
Whoa.
They have
Charles Oakley over here.
But they definitely needed a big. That's how I see it. So I feel like this was a good move for him, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting when I saw the trade. I like to look into, like, who was traded, some of the pieces, and, like, obviously the players that are involved. Like, not even just the players, like the actual players, but the team as players in that trade. And I was just, like, very, very interested in what the Phoenix Suns were doing, and it had just had me in my Brian Windhorst moment, like, What's going on in Phoenix that we don't know? Because obviously, for you look at their situation, it looks like they're just dumping, right? Like they're just dumping everything out of there. So I knew that something like this was going to happen for Phoenix because of the new owner from last year. All that stuff. He wants his own team. He did that trade for KD, all that good stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna try to do, considering all those guys are coming up on contracts as well. So might be hurting for money over there. But anyway, that was my only take on the NBA. Anyway,
and my last point I want to make, I love it for DeAndre Ayton because I was high on the guy coming out of college. I really liked him, but when I saw his baby antics in Phoenix and I'm not the number one. I was the number one overall pick. And why is Booker here? And why is Durant getting this? And now you got Beal. It's a good fresh start. You can possibly be the number one option in Portland and grow with Scoot Henderson and be a 1-2 punch there if it works out. So I wish the best for him. And as for Phoenix, it's just Brooklyn 2.0. That's all it is to me.
We'll see.
And Portland's fan base. I mean, Portland has a very good fan base. That's another thing. Like you look at them, like across.
Ride or die.
All the way from Clyde Drexler to Brandon Roy to Vita Sabonis, and they love their guys. So I think this is what Ayton needs, bringing in that energy with Scoot Henderson. It's the Pacific Northwest is an exciting place for basketball. That's why I cannot wait for the Seattle Supersonics to eventually make a comeback. But I think this is perfect for Ayton. Like remember LaMarcus Aldridge was there. I mean they love that guy. You know what I mean? So we'll see what it does. But it looks like Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge all over again.
Hell yeah!
I love the NBA.
Love it. Can't wait to do more. Can't wait to see where I land on these picks. But that is all the show we have for today. Tremendous. We got it done in about hour 15, so we're getting closer. A-Rod, you want to give us a takeaway, close us out, do all that good stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you can find us on former Twitter, now known as X, at @fair_weatherpod. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search the Fairweather Podcast, and where you subscribe or listen to podcast audio, you can catch the audio there as well. KK, words of wisdom, take them away.
Joe Namath has no business talking all that bullshit he was talking. He is the most overrated Hall of Famer in the history of the Hall of Fame in any sport, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it with that. Good night.